What up, though, everybody? It's Chris Platte of the Rap K podcast, a.k.a. Platte Pods, episode 96. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Let's go.
A little bit light this week, So
where everybody go?
Some fellas had some plans, you know. It's a busy weekend. It's a busy weekend for some people. So we are without the normal crew, but you know who he is. Bryce flying in from somewhere nice and holding it down, as always, on the ones and twos, Big AP.
Yeah,
Again,
I'm contractually obligated to be here no matter who else is.
Literally.
And you are now free to move about the podcast.
Yeah. No, like crew, but good topics, heavy content. I'm thinking about it. I may push the one to next week because I really want Birdie and Jalen's opinion on that. I would love to get
someone talking a little greasy about the current state of hip hop.
Yeah.
I think that's a good next week topic.
Mm-hmm. I think we saved that one, but before we had a full show topic, and then I realized we didn't say shit about the Super Bowl halftime.
Hey.
I was going to say something towards the end last week, but I was like, I will probably save it for the following week. Or wait, no, it was just on Sunday.
This is the first opportunity. Yeah, so in your mind, you already ignored it.
Yeah. See, the thing is.
No, we'll make it real quick because it's not Kendrick. No, I'm kidding. But no, what did everybody think of the Super Bowl halftime performance?
I loved it. I personally thought it was phenomenal. I was sitting there super geeked when he came out with Nuevo Yo, and I saw the memes out there. There's like, you could tell every millennial who was watching with you when the start of Gasolina played.
I know. That's what we had a couple of people over watching it, and that was the first thing I said. I was like, yeah, they had to throw that in because they know that every white person at least knows Gasolina.
Everybody of my age knows Gasolina. And even though he didn't do the song, we're just like, we heard the beat, like, oh, shit.
The drum, yeah. But that goes to show how...
It's like a cat call for a white girl.
It is.
It does show how big that song is, or how, like, you know, transgenerational it is, because all you need to hear is the drum pattern and you recognize it.
I wouldn't call it transgenerational. You might have to go back to the Turning Point halftime show with that shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
the Arby's.
Do you know how racist you got to be to watch that garbage ass halftime over Bad Bunny? You have to tune out of football and tune in to that trash ass music.
And it went bad too. Like, their sound was all fucked up.
Bro, and it was pre-recorded. You had multiple days to get it right.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't even get to the part where Erica Kirk shoots fireworks out of her pussy.
My favorite was someone had taken footage of somebody at the actual Super Bowl while they had their phone out. They were streaming the Turning Point halftime show. It's like, you already bought the ticket, you stupid bitch.
Yeah,
you
here. Paid $1,000 for this ticket,
dude.
Yeah.
That's
I'll show
them. You can't boycott something you are currently at.
Yeah, you can't boycott something you literally funded. That's insane.
That's fucking crazy.
No, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a dope performance. I think Bad Bunny, you know, he has good production. I thought the production of just even the performance itself was dope.
I thought the show was fucking, I think set wise, I liked it more than Kendrick's last year.
I agree.
I thought there was a lot of character to it. It was really cool.
I agree.
It shows me how we're progressing from stage, you know, where we just seen like some big artists come on and they were just like on stage. Like, you know, you had Usher and Rihanna, and like Rihanna's stage started to levitate. Then you had Kendrick moving about the stadium and doing like different formations. And now you got Bad Bunny actually going through a sugarcane maze to get to the main stage. I think we're really seeing the evolution of not just the performance of the Super Bowl, but like what leads up to it, like
the production.
The production value.
Yeah, no, I thought it was dope. And listen, the people that you know are complaining, I thought there were some pretty good views there. Honestly. So like, even if you don't like the music, man, just bob your head to the beat
and the vibes.
I know there was vibes were high.
Again, some of the
not gonna get myself in trouble, but
no, don't get yourself in trouble. But I know
not this weekend.
But there was another meme I saw where this person was talking because a lot of conservatives are also upset because I guess for one split second there are two dudes dancing together, and the person's like, "How are you paying attention to that when there are 90 Latina backup dancers on stage?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's just if any, they tell it themselves.
Yeah.
That's
They give themselves
that's
away.
a very good point.
They give themselves away.
They're telling themselves for sure. No, I thought it was dope, man, and look, it was funny because everybody was like, "Oh, well, I can't understand what they're saying." Well, I had a lot of people, both personally in my life and I just seen on internet discourse, a lot of older people didn't understand last halftime show.
Right.
So this shit ain't nothing new. But to
30 for 30, baby.
But imagine that old racist fuck. This is their last 2 Super Bowls they have for life, and it's fucking pro-black Kendrick Lamar, and it's fucking and it's with Latino star Bad Bunny who's LGBTQ affiliated. They're like, God, take me now.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly.
We need to clean some of them motherfuckers out. Natural selection. But no, I mean, the one thing about it too that gets me are obviously not I'm gonna say not as cultured, but some of the people who are still mad conservative wise, they're like, oh man, this is not even English. I'm like, you talking about you guys who like to go, quote unquote, go to the opera, which is also not in English. You don't understand what any of them are saying.
That's true.
You go to there's so many other things. People are okay with French. People are okay with like German thing, like all these other like classic sounds. But when it comes to Spanish, it comes to like a real fun like vibe. That's when you want to decide, oh, no, I need it to be in English.
Yeah, just wait till it's K-pop next year. They'll really fucking blow a gasket.
Yeah.
Exactly. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if that's what it is, because I thought this was a smart play, because you have Bad Bunny is, outside of Taylor Swift, he's the biggest streaming artist. So you would have thought that, okay, this is a very smart play because a lot of his listeners are predominantly outside the U.S. There's going to be people tuning in worldwide to Super Bowl always, but he might even bring in more of a pull. I was actually shocked that his numbers were lower than Kendrick. I mean, it was close.
They
I
went back.
I heard that he had the highest
So
viewership.
the official count I saw from Nielsen was Kendrick had 138 point something and Bad Bunny had 133 point something.
Yeah.
And so it was like within 5 million, which honestly at numbers that high, it could just be literally
it
a
falls
variance.
in the margin.
Yeah.
And
but
that's TV's being left on at that point.
right, but shout out to Jay-Z, man, because the last 2 halftime performances are the most viewed. So I think he's done a good job selecting so far, and I really I can't wait to see next. And you mentioned the K-pop thing, but I really could see a world in which he brings that because
for sure.
the NFL now is trying
What do
to
you think about it?
Exactly what I was going to say.
Globalize.
Real quick is this is the people are like, NFL football, it's American and da. The NFL has made it abundantly clear that they're trying to expand globally. Outside of the halftime performances, they're trying to make this a worldwide sport.
And one thing
made that very clear.
They literally have games overseas
Well,
every year.
That's what they bring up.
You know what I
because
mean?
one of the things that people forget is Bad Bunny, obviously the largest Latin streaming artist, but he's also one of Europe's largest streaming artists. And what do we have first next year? We have the first games in Paris in the NFL regular season starting next year. The NFL is expanding now, so we're going to have a game in Germany, a game in Spain,
I think it's unconfirmed, but I think the Lions are going to be the Germany game. I know that it's confirmed that they have an overseas game, but with Amin Ra,
it's going to be the Germany game.
I'd
So we got a game in
Henry
Germany.
Ford has a history, so.
Yeah.
Boy, what a slap in the face that is.
So we got Mexico, you got Spain, you got Germany, and now you have Paris. You're having actually 2 games in Germany. So yeah, you have this big international audience that continue to expand. It's going to get to a point where we have the 17-game season where that 17th game is basically going to be every team is going to have a spot overseas to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, I think the NFL is with it. And look, the NFL, you have your outrage and stuff, but that's just more fucking marketing for the NFL. And I genuinely don't think that there's enough people that are protesting the Super Bowl because of these quote-unquote performances that may not be like.
The only thing that made people protest the Super Bowl, the way the Patriots played. That's the reason why people turned the Super Bowl on. That game was so bad.
Yeah, they said that fucking Bad Bunny had more stage time than the Patriots offense. Yeah,
I believe it, bro. Drake May fucking sucks. He's a fucking shit. No, he's actually decent, but he's so overrated.
I also saw that
sports.
This is the second Super Bowl in a row that's been a very bad day for guys named Drake.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's true. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Greats just keep taking L's in Super Bowls, man.
But let's move on to somebody that might be taking an L. I don't know. J. Cole. J. Cole, his album The Fall Off that we all sat here and praised the day of its release. We sat here, present company excluded, but you praised it. You praised it too via text.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
But so we were all on board with it. First time in Rap Cave history that we all are just like, you know what? This is a really good album. And it has a Metacritic score now so far, so that number can change, but I don't think it will change much, of 65 out of 100.
It just
so
went up to
that
66 today.
Okay. Wow, there's a bump right there.
I just added 2 more reviews.
Right.
It's now 66, so it's just 1 point off.
So 66 out of 100, that's the average score a professional publication is giving. And so that makes it his lowest critically acclaimed album, or his lowest critical score of an album in his history. Second, ironically, is 2014 Forest Hills Drive at 67.
Yeah, the list is almost
So-
backwards in how the albums like should be. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the off season should be the lowest, but the off season is rated the highest, I believe.
Yeah, the offseason is the highest, but I just
With only a 76.
I want to ask: Are we missing something, or are they missing something? Because honestly, now that we've had a week now, we've had some time to sit with it. We did bring up its issues, you know, like what are the standout records that you're really going to be listening to for a very long time, all of those things that we had. But overall, we really liked it. How are we feeling about it now, 1 week later? Is your thoughts changed? Is it the same? Where are you at with it? I'll start with you, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, since I wasn't here last week, I could just say, like everybody else on the panel, I fucking love the album. I thought it was a masterpiece in terms of J. Cole's, like, great way for him to culminate his career. And I've been listening to it, and I think after having some more time to sit with it, I found more nuance in it, certain things that I like, the way that he transitions. I thought it was a great album. I still have the same sort of, I guess, not beefs, but sort of nitpick portions of it that I would have had before, where I do think toward the middle and end of this one, I can see where people can fall off a little bit, no pun intended, just because it gets a little bit slower. The themes kind of seem like they repeat a little bit in there.
Feels a little fluffy.
It feels a little like fluffed up there, but then he gets back into this too, and it gets like, you know, into his love of hip hop, and you're getting to like the him and his girl, the love of hip hop, the what if with, you know, Tupac and Biggie, and then him talking about, you know, looking at other beefs that are similar, kind of relating the same thing. So the metaphor tracks all the way through disc 2 better than it does disc 1. That being said, I do not see how, unless you are skimming through and nitpicking, kind of just like listening to the intro parts or like skipping through certain parts of the track, which, I mean, again, a lot of these publications I get, they have to get their reviews out. They try to get the reviews out early.
Yeah,
so if
we don't know who are the people that are. I mean, maybe it's listed on.
Yeah,
the
it is.
page,
Yeah,
but
it is
like,
listed.
But like, as far as like us seeing the review, do we know that person's history and relationship?
Oh,
with
yeah.
J. Cole
Yeah.
or
I get
hip
what
hop
you
as
mean.
a whole. You know.
I mean, yeah, just kind of a quick rundown. Clash gave it 90. Rolling Stone gave it a 70. Consequence gave it 67. Guardian gave it 60. Pitchfork 53. And then Slant Magazine was the lowest with 50.
I never remember a good Guardian review in my life.
Well, Guardian is you know,
I know what they are, but
I always have I feel like the Guardian is always like my foil because I always downgrade like British rappers because they all sound like Dr. Seuss rapping overseas to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm always going to give them lower than, and the Guardians, obviously being a British like publication, is always going to rate them super high. So
Yeah.
I get it, but no, honestly, to me, this rating doesn't make sense. I know Metacritic is going through, and usually there are like 16, 17 reviews for their score. Right now, they're only at 8, and we're, you know, a full week in. So I'm expecting to see a couple more. Like I said, it bumped up a point. But then you go back to this. I think it's a Critic thing. How is 2014 Forest Hills Drive only a 67?
But yeah, because that's the thing is like you also got to think that the person who rated that 10 years ago is not the person who's rating this today. I highly doubt it's the same person. You know what I mean? And like, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, fuck what the critics say, whatever. And J. Cole has always had a tough time with critics. That's been the bulk of his career. He has never been critically acclaimed very highly. I mean, like, as far as actual this type of criticism goes, a lot of like deep hip hop, like actual hip hop based publications will, champion him or whatever, but he's not the like the Grammy darling that Kendrick is. He's not the worldwide sensation that Drake is.
He's not going to hit Pitchfork the same way he would if it was back in the magazine days when he was being rated by like Double XL and The Source.
Exactly. And so, like, I mean, first of all, I don't think it's us missing anything. I don't think it's them missing anything. I think that people went into this, if you're already a fan of J. Cole, this was going to satisfy you. If you had a reason to hate J. Cole, you're going to find a way to use this as leverage to continue to hate J. Cole. And I really think that it's weird because it seems like it should be the most non-polarizing album, but then it becomes polarizing,
Yeah, I think my review of it is that, at first I was like, they're tripping, man. Like, that's fucking crazy. And then look at Forest Hills Drive, like, because to me, that's the conversation for Cole's best album is The Fall Off and 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And now I thought about it, and because of what you said, it makes total sense. It makes total sense because this was such a J. Cole album that, again, it was on your expectations. Your score was on your expectations. It wasn't on anything else.
Yeah.
Like, if you were expecting him to come out with an album of 2014 Forest Hills Drive where it's all hits, then yeah, shame on you. Didn't get that. I shouldn't even say shame on you, but you'd be disappointed if you were like me coming into it saying I want high level raps and just J. Cole being J. Cole. Then you're satisfied. If you wanted J. Cole to explain more profoundly his feelings on Drake and Kendrick Lamar, you were disappointed. So it's whatever your expectation was is what is going to impact your score. And it makes sense that these critics, again, there was a lot of public backlash for J. Cole with how he handled things. There's always been that divisiveness when it comes to J. Cole of is he, and that'll be a conversation for next week. But, something that Sahai said that he said isn't really tied to J. Cole, but feels like it's tied to J. Cole. And the idea of this guy says a lot but nothing at the same time, and you don't really get a story. And I disagree with that, but that's beauty in the eye of the beholder. If you feel like
the metaphors, the transitions on this, the way he contextualized Kendrick and Drake right after doing the What If track about Tupac and Biggie. I mean, like, he's layered this album to me expertly, and I get it. It's a dense album, and on one listen through, and that's what I was saying for a lot of these reviewers are like, album comes out at midnight. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get the review in first publication in the morning, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So they're listening to it through one time. That's a lot of music to get through one time to understand even the broadest strokes of a concept.
Yeah, we said that because me and him listened to it together, and by the end we're like, oh, that's going to take a while. Like,
mm-hmm. And that's just what it is, man. Like I thought that, again, there's like what I love about it is there's like the love letter to hip hop element where there's so many hip hop driven samples and messages. I love and I can't relate to it yet, but I always aspire to relate to it. Is this album felt like the ultimate homecoming. It felt like he was talking to Carolina. Mm-hmm. He wasn't talking to us. He was talking to Fayetteville. That whole album, and as somebody that would love to be like the man the man of the city, the man of your hometown, like the hometown hero, like that is something that I see he's going for, and I think he completely achieved. Like with the rollout, with everything that he's done, the reception. Again, a lot of the music, the themes. Again, he has a record. This is some dude that none of us have ever fucking heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
But because he's got some type of motion, in J. Cole's hometown, J. Cole noticed and he addressed it on this album. And like, that's what I'm saying. He spoke directly to it. He said he was never going to top this album after it. So I
think that this is the best.
This is the best. This is what he wanted.
This is the best. J. Cole has been an artist that, in a good way, you know what you're getting from him. He's very Now, I won't say a one-trick pony by any means, but he's been extremely consistent throughout his whole career in sound, in the way that he has made it like through the years, kind of progress that sound. And I think that this is the thesis of that in the best way possible, in the fact that like this is the best. If anybody in the world wanted to make a J. Cole album, like a J. Cole style album, this is the best version of a J. Cole styled album.
So I have a quick point. So the one I use that's been kind of more recently active than Metacritic is Album of the Year, and it does the same thing. It compiles critic scores and user scores and separates them. It has a massive database. I'm looking at it now. So the critical score is 69. So that sounds ballpark like they've grabbed, and that's off of 10 reviews. Yeah, 10. And then off of 8,864 user reviews, it is an 81, which is his highest.
Right.
So
I think that plays to exactly what we're saying.
That shows it. And that's it. That's J. Cole. That sums it up perfectly.
And using Album of the Year, again, same thing where you have 79 for Forest Hills Drives, 69 for the critic score for Forest Hills Drive. So
same thing.
It's following that same line. Cole albums are not meant to be quickly consumed and repopulated by the critics. As fans, when we're not on that deadline, we have time to sit back and listen to this. I wasn't going to be good to rate this album last week. I could say I like it. I was going to be able to say, like, I think it's one of his best, if not his best. But I couldn't put it in a numerical rating last week. I needed some time to sit with it.
Right.
And the one thing I was going to bring up, and then I know you probably heard about this too, what do you think about, do you think the perception would change if he had stuck to his original schedule? Because I know you saw this, but for anyone who doesn't know, J. Cole was being interviewed this week and did say that It's a Boy, the mixtape that was originally on the timeline that was supposed to drop before, is still dropping. He just doesn't know when, and he didn't want to put it out in the same order because he had dropped the Birthday Blizzard pack.
Yeah.
And so he's like, it doesn't make sense to drop that and then drop It's a Boy and then drop this. He's like, that's just too much music to sit with.
Which I love that he like. That's why I really love J. Cole personality wise, is because he can acknowledge that. He's like, yeah, that's too much at one time, instead of being like, oh, you're lucky that you can hear this much music from me.
He wants you to sit with that. And my thought process and my kind of conspiracy theory, so to speak, is that It's a Boy was going to be more for the radio, was going to have more of that, like, okay, these are the fun songs. This is me celebrating like fatherhood. This is going to be more of like the upbeat, while this was still supposed to be the culmination. That's why I was going to come out.
This is going to be the rap.
Yeah, this like that was going to be the fun and the teaser for now we're going to get into the summation of everything. So I think if he still plans on dropping It's a Boy like he says he is, which may come, after this one is probably gets his Grammy nods and stuff like that, just had its time. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops that later in the year. And that's kind of like almost like Tyler the Creator did with dropping Chromacopia, which is like the very like heavy thinker. And then he's like, okay, here's Don't Tap the Glass. Here's the fun.
Yeah, don't think about it. Yeah.
The only difference in that is that Don't Tap the Glass wasn't a plan like It's a Boy was, where he literally like start to finish did that while on tour for Chromacopia pretty much. You know what I mean? So I think the way it lays is a little bit different, but I do agree with you in like, I mean, I actually didn't think that it would be like the, radio play, because with a name like It's a Boy and it being about fatherhood, usually that doesn't feel that.
I thought it was going to be some Kill Edward shit, if I'm being honest.
I always felt like it was going to be like even more introspective or whatever.
Yeah, or like super experimental.
But either way, that's like what I
thought that was for the joy aspect.
By J. Cole claiming retirement, that's an ambiguous term in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? He's not on Social Security right now.
Yeah,
so he said he's going to drop singles. He might drop mixtapes, but he doesn't like the concept of an album anymore. And you got to think how long
J. Cole.
Yeah, as J. Cole.
That's important to clarify.
He said in quotations, I'm not necessarily in the space to drop more J. Cole albums.
Yeah.
Which again, we had Childish Gambino who dropped his last thing, the quarantine one, which he originally, before he rebranded and everything and renamed it, it was just dropped as The Date under Donald Glover not under Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that he's had an album since then, but like,
yeah.
no, and I don't think that this is the last we hear from J. Cole. I'd be hard pressed.
He's
You know
gonna
what I
Well,
mean?
mixtapes. He's
it
gonna be
just
on
got
features.
confirmed. He's got a feature coming in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I
Well,
mean,
yeah, he said he's not going to stop rapping.
he did say that like right now Dreamville isn't really a
thing, yeah.
unit the way it used to be. But I do, which is it's sad because even though like a lot of those artists didn't become like maybe what he thought they were going to be, it was a fun. But anytime I see a posse in hip hop, I love just the camaraderie of it and everything.
Yeah.
And Revenge of the Dreamers 3 and the whole documentary was
That was so
cool.
fun.
That was really dope.
It was a great time in
But
hip-hop.
I see J. Cole kind of taking more of an A&R approach in a lot of things, kind of like Jay-Z's done over the years and whatever, you know what I mean? Rather than being J. Cole the artist, he's J. Cole the mogul at this point. And, you
Yeah.
know.
And again, if we get mixtapes from J. Cole or like a compilation of singles, he might drop a greatest hits compilation that includes some new music.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different ways that he's going to get music out, that he can get music out there that doesn't have to be classified as a studio LP.
Yeah, and he
It's-
can.
we're in the streaming
and
age.
even
You
if
don't
he
have to.
wants to do another studio LP as J. Cole, he can't. Like it's like
Yeah.
retirement in music is so much different than anything else. Like,
Yeah, like
I
said,
see.
he's not getting social
Yeah,
security checks.
I see tweets that were like, damn, bro, this man, even Jay-Z retired longer than this guy. Like, like just laughing about J. Cole announcing the new music. My prediction for the It's a Boy is that I think he's gonna drop it after the tour. I think he's gonna drop it
That makes
after the
sense.
tour. Which kind of does align with like Grammy nomination season,
Or at least
because
done-
he
done with
goes
the first
till
leg.
he tours till like September or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
and I think he's going to probably add tour dates like
Yeah,
most
he
artists
might.
do. So I think that's going to be like
Yeah.
after you're saying basically after the tours that's announced, which will probably just be the first leg.
Yeah.
It'll kind of be like the Tyler situation. It's a little different because he recorded that, but I
Yeah.
do again, no matter what we think the concept is, I always thought It's a Boy would just be him showing his joyousness about it. So it's going to be a little bit more upbeat, a lot less introspective.
And I wish I could fucking interview Cole because I have so many questions. Like one of my questions would be like, okay, why was It's a Boy like so close to the fall off? Like,
Right.
was there a because like even the off season was like
Did
5 years ago.
Did It's a Boy birth of songs that originally you were going to put on the fall off?
Like yeah,
and
like
then
what?
It kind of turned into its own thing as you were making it.
Yeah,
or
what
like-
is the kind of the thing going
in
on
fact,
here?
yeah,
Like, what's
there's
the story?
There's a lot more mystique around It's a
Yeah.
Boy than there ever was around the fall off, honestly.
Yeah,
Well, because we know everything we know about the fall off and how he was pretty much done with it and then got re-inspired over the course of like these last 2 years and created the double disc aspect of it from that. So that goes to show you we don't know kind of what was where. We kind of can in our own heads think of what was original and what was newer, but at the same time you have to think he was working on the fall off at the same time roughly as It's a Boy. So when you try to pull the songs that were originally very clearly before these past couple years,
yeah.
what's the difference between that and It's a Boy? And that's why I kind of have that. I feel like some of those older ones are a little bit slower, a little bit more like introspective. So It's a Boy would be different than that.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
I
We'll
think
see.
it- I
Look,
think-
we are going to see. I'm confident. The one thing about J. Cole is that he will drop the music. It may take long, but he will drop
eventually
it.
drop, yeah.
It will eventually come out.
I just wanted to add, like, to play into the way that, because one thing I love when, certain artists, you can really pick an era of when you hear a song by them, you could say it's from this time. You could do that with Kendrick. You could do that with Drake. You could do that with Mac Miller. You could do that with Tyler the Creator. You could do that with a lot of people. But J. Cole, out of what was dropped, whatever was made before and after the whole 2024 conundrum, I can't tell at all. It all sounds like it was all made as one at this, which I think there's a similar respect to that. And again, I think J. Cole, out of everyone, does the one thing he has is consistency in sound in the way that he is, to where you literally can't tell what was old and what was new. And I think in this case, that's a good thing, because the other things that were standing out, like, oh, this very clearly sounds like it was from 2021 or whatever, as opposed to now. And I think he just does a really good job of that.
And I want to clarify, I'm not saying that because he re-records and we redid a lot of that. I'm just saying the content of it, I can kind of, in my mind, at least through some of my listens, I kind of am picking and choosing. Maybe it's just me, but this was part of the original plan.
Like
This
the
was
Pocket Big thing had to be after.
Yeah.
Either that
Yeah, maybe
either
it
that
was.
or that's just like some universe like some
maybe
universe
that,
like
but
cosmic
I
shit.
think the Erykah Badu one was after one too.
Yeah.
because that's for everyone who remembers, Erykah Badu and Alchemist were supposed to drop an album last year,
yeah.
and that was
that's a good point on that.
and
yeah,
that
because
beat
it's
was the
Alchemist-
exact same beat that was originally on that Erykah Badu sample. Or
and
that
that's also what I kept
Yeah,
saying.
you're right.
That was my like big claim when I heard the album for the first time, is that was originally The Realist by Mobb Deep, which was the breakout beat that Alchemist made that got him into the forefront of
Yep.
hip hop. But yeah, I don't necessarily mean content wise, but I mean wise of shifting sound and whatever.
he doesn't chase. Yeah, he doesn't chase a sound. J. Cole does his own thing, and no matter what, J. Cole is going to be 100% him, to the point where like we're using all the contextual clues of all of us listening to place one or the other. But to the average person, no, this album would sound no different if it came out 2 years ago or now. It's still going to be J. Cole doing J. Cole.
Right. Let's talk about somebody else who is doing him, and I don't know where that's going to land him. Baby Keem announced his album is next week, Casino. He released a documentary, and he had a snippet teased feature with Kendrick Lamar, and he released a track list too. I'm blanking on the other features. Chris, if you could look that up for me. I'm blanking on the other features, but it was very minimal.
Everywhere, nice.
Yeah, it was very minimal. But the thing about Keem is interesting because
It says the album's supposed to be featuring Kendrick, Too Short,
yes, Too Short,
Momo
yep.
Boyd of Infinity Song, and Shay Ekru, who I actually have heard of before.
And that's
Okay.
a very interesting one for me too, but I can get to that later.
Yeah. So before let's get to let's just read the temp in the room. Yeah, let's just do like kind of initial expectations for it, kind of where you're at with Baby Keem right now, announcing that he's dropping his first album since 2020, right?
Yeah, the beautiful.
Yep, Melodic Blue.
The Melodic Blue, yeah.
So where are you at with
the
it?
beautiful purple, whatever it was.
Yeah, some color.
Great album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're
So-
6. That's 6 years.
Yeah, almost 6.
Was
It was summer of 2020.
No, 20. Oh wait, hold up.
I remember because it was
No, 2021.
yeah 2021 because I remember
times.
for some reasons.
That's a
Yeah.
5-year gap, and really no feature. He's not
Yeah.
really done features.
Barely, yeah.
Nothing.
Shit, Burley.
Barley. He's
So yeah.
he's interesting, man. It's gonna be fun to see where this goes.
What is your just initial baseline expectation, excitement level? Where are you at with Baby Keem? Before I get to my other question, my burning question.
You want to go or you want?
Go for it, because
Okay. So I'm a Baby Keem fan overall. Like I like everything that he's done thus far. I don't think of him as the most lyrical rapper. He actually has a song on this album coming out called "I Am Not a Lyricist." So I think
Interesting.
he very very clearly will address that. It's not. I mean, now would I consider this to not be a very long album? I don't know, because what is a long album anymore? Is it because once upon a time, 12 songs was a long album or a long enough album? This album is 12 songs.
Yeah.
And so I think that by doing it, because the Melodic Blue was longer, I believe it was like 18 tracks or something like
16
that.
or 18, I think. Yeah.
I have very good reason to believe that if it's 12 songs, those 12 songs are going to be very well thought out for what he has. He also has fucking I mean there's just no denying I don't want to call it nepotism, but it's like when you have Kendrick Lamar as a confidant on how to pace your album, what songs to keep and what songs to throw out, I would trust him. You know what I mean? So I have high hopes for it. I don't think Baby Keem is at a point right now where I'm questioning his like stake in the game or whatever. I think that he kind of is in his own thing, because he doesn't really play a lot of the industry games that a lot of other artists do. He's not on Don Toliver's album, or he's not fucking You know, he's not the type to have like the Thug Travis, whatever, Mighty Trio features, whatever like that. He kind of goes a little bit against the grain, but still makes music that, whether you call it club worthy, I call it bangers. Like, you know what I mean, one way or another. So I don't really have like a set full expectation. I expect to like it. I don't think that this is a make or break point with him yet or anything like that, because I've been satisfied thus far. I don't see him ever being really put into that pot of the greatest, like in a that highly regarded as like one of the greatest of all time. But I expect it to be good. I think it's going to be. I think I'm going to like it.
Okay.
So I feel like, and this hurts my heart to say because I like this guy a lot too. I think he's just going to settle into being Isaiah Rashad. Like, I think he's just going to settle into being a niche artist that is that good at what he does very well. And not to pigeonhole him as one-dimensional, because I do think he'll have that artistry that every album sounds different, but it will ultimately cater and serve his fan base. And I think I'm right, because he dropped his tour. He dropped his tour list, and he is performing at the Fillmore, the exact same place he performed at on the Melodic Blue tour. So that goes to show you, because no, I mean, I understand that, yeah, he probably didn't get more popular in these last 5 or call it 4 years of some change since he dropped, because he had like big moments like the Donda feature and whatever, but that was still way long ago. That was shortly after his album came out.
Right.
But your tour dates show me what the push is for you. Your tour dates show me what they believe this can be, what they want this to be, what they will make sure it is. And for them to say that his Detroit show is the Fillmore, exactly what he was last time, shows me they're not expecting this to be the one. Now, I'm not saying that means that he can't ever have the one that can elevate him, but that shows me that right now what they're looking at him is they're not looking at him jumping into some stardom lane with this project. If anything, they're looking to kind of regain the momentum they had. It may be now he does get on a shorter album cycle where he does have an album a year and a half from now after this, and that's the big one. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe he's just going to be that niche Isaiah Rashad artist where he is going to drop when he wants. He is going to serve his fan base very well. They're going to be very happy and satisfied with each project, no matter how long the runtime is, no matter how long the wait is. They are going to be satisfied. And I think that's what Baby Keem is. But it's interesting because when you look at conversations about him, especially around the time of Melodic Blue, people are ready to say, okay, is he going to be one of those guys that takes the mantle of this new era? Is he going to put himself in the, at that time, Lil Baby conversations? Like, is he going to put himself with the Cardis, with the this, the that? And he went away. And I think there's a plan, a purpose, a reason for it, whatever. So I'm just stating the facts and observing the facts. But that's where I'm at with him. I don't think he's going to be that star, or if he is, it damn sure won't be this moment right now.
Before you go and state your claim, I just want to. The only pushback I will have on that is, so him by having it at the Fillmore twice in a row. First of all, there have been a lot of rappers who have done the Fillmore multiple times.
I'm not disrespecting the Fillmore.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is the Fillmore is essentially the I don't know if it's the biggest, but probably the biggest theater. If not the Fox, but the Fox isn't really a concert venue that well. The Fillmore is the place before. The only other place to go is the arena. So you're jumping from, because I mean, unless there's anywhere else in between that you could think of that's a bigger theater like that. But so it's the difference of the Fillmore. I think it caps at like $2,000 or something like that, as opposed to $20,000. That would be that's a huge jump to make from there to there. And when in where I've seen the artists make that jump, the album has to be there already to have set that. Then the next one comes. They can't. they can't plan ahead to say this album's going to be so good that we're going to be able to sell 20,000 seats. They got to know they can sell those 20,000 seats before the album even comes out as they're planning the tour. So, because I get what you're saying, it's like, does it feel like you're kind of boxing yourself in that sense? But the only place up to go from there, because it's like, all right, going from St. Andrews to the Fillmore. This is very Detroit venue talk, but like, that's a step up. The St. Andrews is significantly smaller than the Fillmore, and that's a step up that we see. Now, if that was a step, like he was at St. Andrews last time and stepped up to the Fillmore, all right, that's a step up. But the next step is the arena. There's really nothing in between. So it's like...
Unless you're talking about the Masonic, which is basically equal.
It's about the same. You know what I mean? So there's not really an in-between there to go. Now, that's also not to say that you're not, like, I don't think he could sell the arena. I think that the Fillmore is an appropriate size for him, honestly.
It is.
I agree.
But he would need to, this album would need to be a smash, then they'd be able to plan ahead and say, okay, he could do that next. Because every time that you've seen him switch from the Fillmore, usually it's the Fillmore, maybe DTE's in the middle.
That was going to be the one that I pushed back, but that's a good point.
That's different. That's out the city, and it's an amphitheater, which kind of operate differently as it is.
I mean, if you're going to go out there, you better be doing it in the summer, which I guess he is, but still, like,
right.
A couple things on this, I guess, from my points of this, because I've been excited about this since the announcement. Because one thing, as you guys know, I like to be right, so I strive to be right whenever I talk my shit. Who called that David Tatar Masfoldos would end up winning Album of the Year?
You did. You did call.
And remember, at the beginning of the year, and this is why I'm a little scared right now, but at the beginning of the year, one of the things you guys are like, what are your predictions for next year? And everyone had their predictions. Mine was that Baby Keem was going to surprise us with an album and take that next step. Go back and look at the tapes. Those are my exact points.
Run the tapes.
Run the tapes.
So what's the next step look like to you?
Well, there are a couple of things, and I'm going to start with kind of work my way back, starting with what you guys were talking about with the venue. And Chris, I think you're right here, because let's be honest, one of the last times Chance was in the city, when he was at the height of his powers before the big day, where was he at? Fillmore. When Tyler, the Creator, had this, like, one of his last big concerts here.
Before he moved to the arena.
He was at the Masonic. Him and Goldlink did one during Dally in the Alley.
Yeah, so which the Masonic and Fillmore are...
There's one in the same.
Tomato, yeah.
Exactly. One you're doing more standing, one you're doing more sitting, basically. Right. So, realistically, Baby Keem is right in his lane. Because the other thing about that, like Chris said, if they wanted to try to sell out a bigger venue, they would have waited till the album came out. They're booking this, and that's a lot of power to book off just his release. I do think that this is where I'm not going to say he's going to automatically shoot to that Travis Scott or that Cardi, like that star turn there, but all of them need that stepping stone. I think this is that stepping stone, and this is what I've been called. I'm cautiously optimistic, though, because of the timing. There's a lot going on right now. We're still in the midst of J. Cole. Mm-hmm. We're doing this right before Bruno Mars. Because he's not going to come out, because he's in the Kendrick camp, he's in PG Lang, and I've thought that this would be one of the albums that can help kind of propel PG Lang to that next step too, outside of Kendrick's shadow. But PG Lang artists, Kendrick grew up with the TDE motto, like, hey, we're going to take our time with these albums. We aren't going to rush this shit out. Yeah. That being said, I have been in my head hyping that this is going to be one of the big moments of 2026. And so because I said it, I got to stick my wagon to it. I want to really quickly, too, shout out Too Short, man, because Too Short is on.
Year of Too Short.
This is the year of Too Short.
He dropped late last year, too, which was a dope project.
I also saw him in concert at
you did. You did go to that. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And it was hilarious. But that's a story for another day. But all that being said,
you bring a bunch of girls
horny unk.
Horny ass unk, man. But no, honestly, I've been excited about this because I thought this was going to be, to me, Baby Keem, because as good as everyone liked the Melodic Blue, I know it had its ups and downs, and it didn't really hit culturally like everyone thought it would. Like, everyone's like, okay, we mess with Baby Keem, but it didn't have like that. I'm not saying he's going to have a big crossover impact, but it didn't really have as big of an impact as I think he thought it would and everyone else thought it would.
Die For My Bitch did more, if anything. And that was also organic before people knew that he was the cousin of Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting point too, because people still really love Die for My Bitch also.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be. I think he's gonna drop this, and we're gonna come out next week and be like, oh, we can see some certified potential like JOB 97.9 bangers that are gonna be radio hits off this album.
I would love to see that. And again, I think that was a great call by you guys. I'm glad you guys brought that kind of context to the conversation here, because that was part of the way I looked at yeah.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when it comes to Baby Keem, man, I'm looking at this project as you almost have to reset your own market because of the absence, because that last project, again, it didn't necessarily warrant enough of it. But what I'm getting from you guys is that if you are a Baby Keem fan, so this is a PSA to anybody out there that's a strong Baby Keem fan, what you're saying is buy your ticket now, right?
Yeah, because
it's gonna
sell.
get hot.
Say one thing about it too, talking about St. Andrews to the Fillmore. I remember everyone knows I'm a huge Gold Link fan, and I remember like, okay, every concert he's coming down. I bought it early, and he was coming here right as Crew hit. And it was like charting,
So
and
that
I remember
changed everything.
And I remember they were talking. There was a potential of them moving the concert because the St. Andrews immediately sold out, and it was like right when it hit like number one on like urban radio, and he played it like 4 or 5, maybe 7 times back to back. And I just remember that because there was like a big debate: should they move it or keep it where it is?
Yeah.
And it ended up being they're just like, yo, this show is sold out, and it was sold out weeks before, and so yes, the PSA. I think if you're a Keem fan and you want to see this live, get your tickets early.
Well, and that's just it, because I think as far as setup goes for this exact scenario, is better to sell out way too quickly than to not be able to sell the
Than to
arena.
be scrambling, yeah.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
He can always Bruno Mars it. He can always add a second date too.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you already know those LA. I didn't see the full tour list, but like I'm sure the LA ones are gonna get pushed, and Kendrick's gonna come out to those, and this and that, and it's gonna have.
because he's not even.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Vegas artist.
I mean, I'd be pissed if I'm Keem and Kendrick doesn't come out for me when he came out for fucking clips. Like, what was it, twice or was it just
Yeah,
once?
for sure.
Once. And then
Yeah,
also,
but-
I mean, another thing about
Still.
this too, you're looking at the tour dates. They're announcing this. It's a world tour already. That says a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And
Okay.
I think a world tour.
No,
at
I
Fillmore's
might have to walk this
I
back.
think a world tour at Fillmore's across the world says more than an arena tour just in the continental United States.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. They're already booking this as a world tour. They already put the. I mean, again,
Wow.
you can have the dates out there and still have to pull the concert
That
back.
that
I didn't
actually
know
that.
that.
actually tells me belief. That tells me belief in what you're in what you're doing and what you're building.
Also,
100%.
the Detroit
Yeah,
date is
world
right around my
tour is
birthday.
a-
Just saying, people.
Yeah. That's
the
known
big-
that,
to
that
announce. There's a difference of announcing a world tour and announcing a tour
girls' tour?
and then
Like,
adding a European
for
leg
for example,
or something.
For example, it's a reverse analogy, but it works the same. Is that my guy Dave? Shout out to Dave. He had the #1 record off of his album in the UK for it was multiple weeks. It was number #1, and he just as of I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I shouted out on the podcast, so I can't remember, but he had just become the first UK artist to be on the Billboard Hot 100 US charts, and it charted at like 89, like it barely got on the chart, but still.
Hip hop.
It was hip hop, but it was like the reverse of it. It's the reverse of like it shows just kind of how hard that barrier of entrance is to
Yeah.
be like literally like worldwide versus even if you're doing it on a small scale versus a massive scale. So
'Cause even-
that to me that does speak
And
volume.
just
and
another
belief.
point too. 2 of these dates are festival dates. So one of them is going to be the Governor's Ball in New York, and the other one's going to be All Points East in London.
Oh no, he's making a jump. I'm wrong.
And that's what. And so
He's making
not
a- he's making a jump.
He's not concerning himself with the.
I'm
Rolling
wrong,
Loud.
he's making a jump.
Wait, is he at Rolling Loud? I don't know. But as far as the tour goes, the Governor's Ball is like that's the festival.
And
Like,
again, we
you know
don't know
what I
where
mean?
he's placing on these, like in terms of the lineup, but he's already announcing as part of his tour dates, like, yeah, I'm going to be at Governor's
Yeah.
Ball. I'm going to be at All Points East.
Yeah, and I
know this is okay.
I'm kind of losing
All
my
right,
thought.
I'm learning.
I wanted to add one more thing when it comes to Where were we with? It was Keem. The way that things are looking when it comes to this, your guy Dave. That even. I thought this was an interesting fact too. Was like it was within the past week or two. I don't think it was on Billboard. I think it was the #1 on Apple Music. But just recently, Bad Bunny's album hit #1, I believe, in Japan. And it's the first time that in the history of the world that a Latino artist has taken the #1 spot over there. So it's like you really never know when it comes to the worldwide appeal, how it's going to hit, where it's going to hit, how those things are going to have. Like for all we know, I mean, I remember when I was like back in like the SoundCloud days and I was dropping music on there, it's like they actually will give you a map of like where people are, and I'm like,
Right.
oh, I have a listener in Indonesia for some
Right.
reason. How the fuck did that happen,
Yeah.
or whatever? You know, so I do think that it's it's almost a bigger bet, or at least equally as big of a bet, to have a world tour of Fillmore's as opposed to a United States tour of arenas.
I agree.
Because I think that international reach is much harder to grasp as a English speaking artist.
And I think again, I think what today sells an artist is performances. I think if you can create that experience, that's how you really gain a fan today. In this world where it's so easy to consume what you want and then leave it as is, everything's so convenient that if you do go out of your way to go to a concert and then that artist delivers you a great experience, you are then strongly a fan of that artist. And that, so like I'm telling you right now, like I'm totally unrelated, but I'll relate it to Keem, is like with Doechii, whatever her first week sales number are, I'm smashing the over, because while everybody's talking about is she an industry plant, is she this, is she that, this is a song. I do find that very fishy that it didn't chart well at all, that shit just came and went. But outside of that, what she's been doing for the past, I don't know, what has it been, like 18 months since she dropped, or like 13 months since she dropped, whatever it was, she's been touring. She's been building that grassroots fan base.
And what we saw
on the road, that shit is going to fucking boom.
For the people who haven't seen it, when they watched that Grammy performance, everyone was like, because, you know, they always do now the medley of all the best new artists, and there's always like one or two that really stand out. And Doechii's made you forget about all, even though like everybody else in that category, like, oh, she can put on a show in that limited time frame. She did 2 songs, the whole thing. It was dope.
She did the grassroots. She worked the you know, like the like late night TV's performances, the Grammy performances. She's gotten the nods, but she's been touring. She's been kind of keeping herself tucked. That's one of those things. So like with Baby Keem, that kind of gives me, like I said, the best case scenario. I was looking at this is the setup for the one. And now seeing and talking with you guys, I feel a little bit more confident that this is a setup. This is a setup for the one. This is one that's gonna get some people going, and then that next one with a quick turnaround is gonna be the one that either makes or breaks his superstardom.
I think this is the one that's maybe the.
Because I think he's still pretty young too.
He's really young.
He's younger
still.
than me, I know.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is the thing that sets him up.
Oh yeah, then he's Gucci.
And I want to agree with you on that. Is that I think right now performance is more important than ever. You know, especially because you've seen wise of performance in hip hop, how far it can go when you have artists like, which I'll always swear by. I think that Tyler the Creator is one of the greatest performers to ever, performance-wise, to ever exist in hip-hop music. His set design, the experience that you get when you're there, and the everything that's behind it.
Again, if you didn't get to see him live, look at his performance this year at the Grammys.
Yeah, which was an absolute experience. And when I saw him for Call Me If You Get Lost, this man, he had a boat that took him from one side of the arena to another stage on the other side, that they had to set up tracks for it. He really gives a fuck. And I think that Keem... Keem is what I think is interesting about him is that he has this ability, and it depends on how he uses it, to really blend the art kids with the hype kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because he has that. He is a very artistically driven individual with the way he does it. Granted, I lend part of that to Kendrick Lamar.
He's got PG Lang behind him. He's got Dave Free behind him. He's got all these creatives outside of just him.
Exactly, and I think that is going to work in his favor as far and like all of his videos are all very fucking. He's great as far as artistic direction. And I do think that it's more important than ever because we're in this age of disposability when it comes to a lot of music. That's what I think is going to be the driving factor because there's a lot of artists out there who their whole performance is them standing in one spot and screaming. You know what I mean? And not much happens, and that's their thing. And some people like that. There's a lot of people who like that. Cardi, by definition, is not a good performer. He doesn't do anything similar to his albums. He's screaming. You can't understand him.
But he's trying to build the mosh pit. He's trying to get the crowd
right.
hype.
So I think that what Keem's objective should be in that is how do I win those people over and still satisfy the art kids as well. You know what I mean? So it's like there has to be that because that is the only way that artists really can speak fully directly to their audience nowadays is through performance. I mean, that's always been a thing, but because of the way music is consumed now, that dynamic has changed.
For sure. Now, you had some other questions, I think, about the album.
Well, I mean, I think we actually covered it. Like that was kind of where I was going to lead it to. So I'm glad we went there. I was going to set up the initial expectation and and then kind of the superstar conversation, and we kind of already had that. But I guess we can kind of quickly wrap it up because I know I voiced my opinion on it that I think that this is a setup for that. Do either of you kind of agree, disagree? Where are you at with Baby Keem and kind of his ceiling?
I don't think we've seen his ceiling yet. I think that Kendrick Lamar came out so hot out the gate that we were okay with him taking big breaks. Baby Keem is his cousin. Like it's the same thing I think he's under the same management. Like it's the same thing. He wants to have that time. And like I said, not every artist needs to put out an album every year. I understand it's good when you're young and to build motivation and build like momentum.
But he's not allowed 5 years yet. I don't think.
Not yet.
He's not. But you know what? I'm giving it the pass because the Melodic Blue did what it did. It was also during the COVID time. Like that period is kind of a wonky period. I think if this is the project, he comes about, reestablishes himself, goes on this big tour, gets the festival circuit, and all of a sudden I don't see why he couldn't be technically like not right away. Obviously, we're talking years down the line, but as large as a Travis Scott or something like that in the game.
I think why you're seeing the activity. And Chris, I want your opinion, but I think why you're seeing the activity that you're seeing now, like the way this is setting up to be like a massive year, and I'll get to that at the very end of the show here, but this is setting up to be a massive year. And you talk about COVID being like a springboard that kind of threw things off. Well, then again, 2024 was another springboard that kind of really threw things off for a lot of the hip hop game, particularly Baby Keem with Kendrick Lamar's cousin. And I do think that they will never admit that. They will probably fight it, but there is some sort of probably moment where Baby Keem was close to ready for an album, and I think he was teasing it. It was something called like a wolf or something or something like that. That he was teasing for several years.
I mean, it made a lot of people pivot.
Yeah, but I could also see Kendrick's your boss being like, "Hey, bro, like this is where we're going. Like this is my time."
And even if
knowing it's not a good time to
like
do it,
stepping
right?
on it. No, I think
that's
it's
good. Now
I think it's
if
both.
If he steps out, even if Kendrick's like, "Go for it if you want," he's like, "What am I getting out of this? You're going to be overshadowing anything I do."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was a rumor, but
Baby Keem dropping should tell you that Kendrick Lamar is not dropping.
Yeah,
that's my point.
I think that even it was more of a rumor, but it's kind of the same thing as during that whole thing that apparently behind the scenes, Schoolboy Q went up to J. Cole and was like, "Just chill."
Yeah, chill out. It's gonna get ugly.
Like let him. And Q and Kendrick don't even like talk every day or anything, but he's like, "Trust me, just chill."
This man about to capitalize on this moment.
You know what I mean? And so I think it was a pivot for everyone. And I also do think that I don't think that this album is 5 years worth of music. I think it's maybe a song or two that were made pre the past 2 years, but it's probably all relatively new. And
I do too.
However, there's probably been different iterations of it. A lot of songs that came and went. Very rarely does an artist make one iteration of an album. I've been doing it for 7 years and I haven't figured out what I want to do. So, but like, you know what I mean? I think that he has it, but he also does need to. The last thing I'll say is, I like Keem separate from the Kendrick conversation and whatever, but with the state of affairs as far as perception with Kendrick Lamar, what he really needs to do is stick a flag in the ground and say, he's my cousin, but I'm still me.
And that's one thing I was gonna kind of hop on was the track list a little bit, because we all know he's going to have a Kendrick feature. He's not going to not. You need that to help boost sales.
Well, yeah, and I expect every Baby Keem album, if there's one person I can depend on Kendrick will consistently feature with, it's going to be him.
And I was going to say, we're going to probably hear more Kendrick more. It's going to be kind of like when J-Rock dropped Redemption, where you hear like Kendrick ad-libs or something in the background on certain songs, but he's not an artist. I'm glad, and I stick with you on that, because I'm so glad that when I looked at the track list, we only have one.
Like one main credited.
And pretty seldom other features. There's only a couple other features, and I think two of them are
good. If you made me wait 5 years, I want to hear you. Like people had a problem with Cole, like, oh, you want features? No, I really didn't.
Yeah.
I thought I did, but once I realized what the album was, I was totally happy with Cole not having a lot of features, because I know that this was 10 years in the making.
And the features he has made sense.
Cole has been one of my most anticipated albums. I want to hear as much J. Cole as possible without tipping the scale being too much. And I thought he did that.
Exactly.
But
I like that we're getting a Baby Keem album that is mostly Baby Keem, and not to where we have to question who had more time. Was it Baby Keem or the group of features that he had?
Yeah.
And Kendrick was on the last one 3 times.
Exactly. Having them on once is key.
Yeah, having them on once is key, and I love that you said that, because he needs to.
And the one last thing I want to say was I really want to shout out the Shay feature there, because I am super excited about that song, and it's a convoluted reason. It's the short story, but here's why. Off the Melodic Blue, there's one song that kind of has like the Manny Fresh beat called Pink Panties. Pussy ass nigga, you know that shit.
I love that song.
Yeah. That song is great beat, everything. Shayaru came out actually right after that and dropped the song, because I guess he had something else going on called Fuck Instagram. And the song slaps. Like, it takes that beat and it does it such justice that there are a lot of people out there who put the two songs together and just made it like a verse inside of that song. So when I saw this, I kind of like shot up. I'm like, oh, so he's actually putting them. You heard, Baby Keem heard that, and now he's bringing them in on the album.
Because people were like, oh, this would be perfect next to each other. You guys would be great next to each other.
Yeah,
that's
so
dope, yeah.
When I saw that, like, the hip-hop nerd in me is just like, oh, shit, I'm ready for that track.
Is this like a West Coast guy, or is there any...
He's like a producer, like songwriter. I don't know where he's from.
I've heard of him before.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was when... So when you was like, oh, yeah, I heard of him. I'm like, yeah, that's one of the... To this day, I will still sometimes not... I will play that version over the Pink Panties version.
Interesting. I'll have to hear it, because I don't think I've heard it. But I'm excited for Baby Keem next week. We're gonna break it down here on the Rap Cave podcast
for sure.
Before we get out of here, we do gotta talk about, speaking of breakdowns and drops and all of that, we do have to highlight new music this week. Now, it wasn't a week where you had a blockbuster rap release like a J. Cole or an A$AP Rocky or a Baby Keem or all of the other weeks that are seemingly happening, because this year is going to be crazy for hip-hop. But we had guys like Brent Fiyaz. We had guys like Ransom and Boldy James dropping with Nicholas Craven. We had... what are some of the other ones? I'm trying to...
Jill Scott.
Yes, Jill Scott. Thank you.
What was it?
I listened to literally everything. I killed it this week.
I don't know how you did it, man, because there's
listened to
of stuff that came
probably
out.
7 hours worth of music, and we are like 18 hours removed from midnight. So I really did my thing today. But No, yeah, there was the Brent Fiyaz was like the big one. There was a few. There
You
was
got
a
the
few
Flocka
Yes.
drop. You have the Central
Waka
C
Flocka
single.
Central C single.
You had the Murder Beats. You had Hit Boy with
Yep.
E40, the Ransom Boldy James. You talked about that. The Boogie with the Hoodie EP.
That one dude that's always on our fucking Instagram, because I know he's got to be on yours the way he is on mine. That fucking that one dude that's really local. The dude that raps on Detroit beats, but is just like parodying them almost. Like he's just saying wild shit like all the time.
What's his
and
name?
he's like oh here.
Yeah, just
I got it.
Look and see real quick because I'm curious.
And Kith Woods or whatever. Anna Kith Woods
I
or
saw
whatever.
you sent something so I'm not familiar. Wait, is that the Indian dude?
That's the Indian dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said. No, bro,
That motherfucker
he
is
funny as hell, bro.
everywhere, bro.
Oh my God.
Everywhere.
Okay, I didn't know that's who it was.
Yeah.
All right.
He dropped. So yeah, it was a week of not blockbusters, but a lot of things going on. So, gentlemen, I'll let you guys kick the floor. What did you guys like from this week? What did you guys find interesting or terrible?
I mean, unless you want to start.
I only listened to one album, so that was. I'm just gonna. We'll go. Let's do that since you have a couple. Jill Scott.
Okay, great one decision.
Yeah.
Also, if that's the one you listen to, you invited to the cookout.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because I was like, all right. Today I kind of had to pick and choose. I was really busy with work. I had to go I had a dinner and shit like that. So Jill Scott was the one that I was able to front to back. And man, what a fucking refreshing, great R&B out. See, remember when we were talking about the type of
I was
R&B?
gonna say the type of R&B, yeah.
That I like. This is like the type. This is not. I'm not a big Singing in the Rain R&B guy. I like this type of R&B. This like hit.
This is some chitlin' and grits R&B.
It hit a lot of marks for me. I thought it was fantastic front to back. I thought that
Again, shout out Too Short.
Yeah, shout out Too Short. That she had Absol and
Listen,
Jay
you gotta
on there
buy me a
too.
car. That shit was crazy.
And also
You
a
sound
feature
crazy.
on the second track, which I liked. I think it's called Be Great, from somebody named Trombone Shorty.
I have seen him
Trombone
live.
Shorty.
Amazing dude from New Orleans. Like, he's had a couple albums. He's actually had a couple of hip-hop features as well, but the dude is fucking phenomenal. If you ever had a chance to see him live, I saw him actually up here in Royal Oak Music Theater. One of those shows that you're just, like, enthralled the whole show.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't expect anything less than greatness from Jill Scott, but, I mean, like, it was just, to me, it just felt so refreshing. Like, even though, like, I mean, I can't, like, I kind of expected what I was getting from Jill Scott. It's not like totally far left to that I didn't see it coming, but like just to hear this style of music still being championed in 2026 was just like, it really just, I don't know. There's something really like comforting about it. I loved it.
I thought it was a really dope album. I loved that she was so like trying to get into today's bag with Tierra Whack feature,
Yeah.
JID, Absol, Too Short. Like, I know Too Short. I guess I should remove Too Short.
I
from
can't
that
believe I heard
conversation.
trap drums
But,
on the
yeah.
fucking JID song. I was like, I didn't see that.
That's
coming.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man. There's some great like kind of like either summertime chilling music or jazz bar type, and that's my type of R&B too. I do love me some Singing in the Rain, but I also really love me some jazz bar R&B, some summertime R&B.
Yeah.
Dim lighting.
And that's what this was. So I thought it was dope. I guess my hot take is this is off of one listen of that. I did get multiple listens to some of the other things, but this is something I only got one listen off of. I did not like the JID or the Absol feature. Like, I thought those were both underwhelming.
The Absol one I wasn't crazy about. I didn't mind the JID feature, but it was funny because the moment the song started, I was like, I know exactly how he's going to approach this.
Yeah.
And exactly
Yeah.
what he did. I knew
Exactly.
as soon as I heard the tempo, I was like, I know exactly what
Yeah.
he's doing, and he did pretty much exactly
For me,
what I thought.
I think I looked at it a little differently, which is why I didn't care about it as much, is because I think you guys, especially with me growing up listening to Jill Scott,
The Tierra Whack feature. The Tierra Whack song, by the way, that one was incredible.
It's a lot more.
That was my favorite
of your like upbringing and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I assume it stood out for this album.
And that's the thing, because the Tierra Whack thing, that's pure Jilly, the Jilly from Philly, which she's trying to give you that like
North
I
Side.
learned that on the album today is that she's from North Philly. I never really knew that.
She actually was You Got Me. She actually sang the original version of that before Erykah Badu got on that for the Roots.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was the sample, and they want the record label want to put someone more famous who was Erykah Badu at the time, but that's how she actually upped her profile in the music industry.
Interesting. Never knew that.
Because she's also from Philly, Questlove, and the Roots. So, but that being said, I agree. I'm on a hip hop podcast. I obviously listen for the hip hop, but I went into this listening for a Jill Scott album, which Jill Scott, like I said, grew up on that. Listened to that with my parents, with my aunties. Like I was, we were joking. Zay and I were joking 2 weeks ago, like, oh, this is cookout music. Someone about to eat some good food off of this. So I was going into it like that. And so the JID and Absol features, I wasn't expecting them to be world breaking. I was expecting this to be like, okay, how can we break these rappers into the Jill Scott world, not have Jill Scott in their world? And I think for that reason, I thought that they were perfectly serviceable. I'm not going into this expecting, the best bars from Soul like this album. This is going to be Auntie over here has never heard of Absol. Is this going to make her want to turn the song off, or is the vibe going to keep it going? And for both of them, I felt like they knew the vibe. Tierra Whack obviously did her thing with Jilly rapping too, so it's like all the vibes fit. If Jill goes on tours, I could see either one of them coming out as like if they're in the city, in the area, coming out for that feature and people cheering.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a dope album, man. I thought it was a dope album. Was there? What did you guys want to get? You want to do the Brent Fiyaz? Did you listen to Brent Fiyaz?
Yeah, that was the first one I listened to, actually.
Yeah, that was so. I did it in reverse this time because I knew I was gonna make time for a lot today. So I actually saved my last two listens for Brent and Jill because I know those were my two most anticipated. Like looking at the slate. First of all, thank you, Brent. I mean, his timing. He knows what he's doing. Dropping the weekend of Valentine's Day. Like he knows what he's doing. He gave me some vibes for the weekend. But I thought it was dope. I read the Apple Music description though. That shit was kind of crazy to me because
I did not.
He did title the album Icon, and I was like, that's aggressive. And then Apple Music like leaned into it, and they're like, you can hear the Michael Jackson here and the this, and I was like, I don't hear that.
No.
but it was a damn good album, and it was an interesting parallel coming from Wasteland, which was such a long and albeit very strong album. I loved that album. That album was like a runtime of like, I think it was like an hour and like 17 minutes.
Album,
it was a long album, but I really, really enjoyed that. It was conceptually done. Mm-hmm. The musicality was awesome. The features were great. Everything about that was like a perfect cross between like artsy and blockbuster.
Yeah.
And this one was just kind of him in his bag, and I was happy with it. Like I thought Four Seasons was great. I thought because every R&B singer at some point has to sing about how she's cold in December but warm like July. Mm-hmm. Every R&B singer has to do that at some point in their career.
Something about the seasons, yeah.
Something about the seasons got to happen. But no, all jokes aside, I thought that one was good. I thought Pure Fantasy was good. I thought the intro was really strong. It was a dope album. So I think if you like Brent Fiyaz, this was like this is a much more digestible album. I still think Wasteland is his best, but that's an hour and 17 minutes. So like if I'm like introducing somebody to Brent, I may give them this album or like maybe another album before Wasteland, just because like Wasteland I think has his best music, but again, you kind of have to like buy it. You kind of have to like dedicate yourself to the experience. Whereas this is like, hey, check this guy out. If you like it, let me know. I got more.
I think that would be a better version of it for me. Because,
It's only 38 minutes runtime.
Like Brent Fiyaz, like I've always respected what he does, and I like anything I hear him on. Like I don't have necessarily a bad word to say about him, but he's never really like stood out to me particularly. Like he had a feature on an album recently, and I didn't even
A$AP's Rocky
yeah, he
album.
was on Rockies, and I didn't even recognize.
I liked that one.
That was actually one of my favorite songs off the album.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought that song was great, but I didn't even recognize that it was
Like
him,
him? Yeah.
or that it was his voice, whatever. And so like, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but Brent Fiyaz is just never like he's never made that mark on me to where I'm like, oh, this guy is different in this way to an extent. I like what he does. I think that as far as like that style of R&B goes, he does have more of an artistic twist on it, which I do like. But yeah, maybe this album would be easier because like Wasteland, I listened to it, but that's a lot of that for me specifically.
This album is more built for you, I would say.
Yeah, I think that maybe this in a more digestible format would maybe sway me on him a little bit more. That's not to say I dislike him. Yeah. I don't have a bad word to say, but he's just never fully caught my interest.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's kind of like okay, I feel like the same thing could kind of apply to Lucky Day, right? Like Lucky Day is a all around good artist, always kind of delivering quality, has some bigger albums like I would think what was it Painting Pictures or what's the
Painted was the
Painted.
Painted. And see that did it for me. That
yeah,
stuck out.
Yes. That and I think that sticks out in his catalog too.
Yes.
I agree. Like I'm not showing somebody like the algorithm to start. You know what I mean? Like I'm showing them either Painted or like one of his shorter like A Table for Two. Like that little EP where he did like with female artists, like
literally. If you need one song, it's Real Games. Like
for sure.
No, if it's one song, it's got to be Late Night.
Late night. Well, I'd say Late Night, Real Games, and
his over for me.
And Karma, the Genuine Flip. But that's just it. Those are all that album, which are all fucking. That album is fantastic.
For me, over. The way he samples Music Soul on that was fucking crazy.
Well, moving back from Lucky Day though.
I think that Brent Fiyaz, I think he delivered a very solid album. Like not his best, not necessarily taking a step, but which you think an album like Icon would like be that one. But
it's a bold name.
Yeah, it's just that's what it is. It's just a very aggressive title for an album that I thought wasn't aggressive in his catalog.
Yeah,
that's the best
Jaden
way to.
Smith did the whole Icon thing too.
Yeah.
It's like your dad and your sister are more than you, I think. But,
so
I digress.
I think the whole thing is this, and I'll admit this: I made a mistake by the way I listened to it at first because I'm like, oh, Brent Fiyaz, I'm excited to listen to this. But then I'm thinking of like Dead Man Walking, Brent Fiyaz. So I made the mistake and listened to one of my favorite songs off of Wasteland, Ghetto Gatsby, first. So I'm like, oh yeah, let me just get one of my favorites in real quick, and then I'm gonna jump right into the album.
Then your expectations are
you
fucked it up.
You way out of whack.
Yeah.
So I sat down, I was like, nope, not this moment. Listened to some singles, did a meeting, came back to it. Now, I do think you have a good point. You're like, he knows what he's doing. He's releasing it now. This is a personal attack to myself, but my single ass wasn't not thinking about Valentine's Day. I was the whole time I was listening to it, both the first time where I had to stop and restart, and the second time where I definitely liked it a lot more, was this album to me should have not been released winter going into spring, but spring going into summer. This album to me gives way more summer vibes and beach vibes and like a little bit more flowy, like weekday during the summertime.
This was Valentine's, and let me tell you why. Because the last one, what the fuck were those skits on Wasteland? Those skits were like violent. There was some shit going on. Like there was a lot of toxicity. Yeah. This one is pretty like I'm gonna lay it down to a few of these. Like
it's Valentine's Day, and I can see that. But for me, when I think of that type of music, I don't. And like I said, my single ass, I don't associate Valentine's Day with anything. This is Black History Month. This is where I go through my hell month. I don't think about that other shit. I'm thinking like when I'm actually like,
Happy Black History Month.
thank you. As the black representative, but no.
Are you supposed to say that? Are you supposed to be like, "Hey,
You
happy
gonna tell me I
Black
can't
History
this
Month"?
month? On
No.
this month?
No, I'm saying like, are white people? Are we supposed to be like, "Happy Black History"?
Yeah,
Month?
like Merry Christmas.
Like if you hold the door for somebody, like
Happy February. This is for you. Let me
Yeah.
hold this door. No, but for me, my like again, my single ass but yet horny ass, I do more of my like laying down in the spring and summer. That's when I'm like, it's my host season. So that's for me. Like when I'm listening to this music, I'm like, yeah, this is breezy fun. Like you're on the beach, you're getting close to beach time. It's sunny out. You can walk without a coat or just like light jacket, and then you kind of like people are taking off layers. That's what this music is to me.
Nice breeze.
so he made an album that ages well
I think it's
because he dropped it in the winter, but it's gonna play in the
It's at
summer.
least gonna age a couple.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Something's gonna age.
So I think it's a good move.
Consider
I'm
the
with
concept
it.
of aging well being that it's
couple
still
months?
good next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the problem is because for me, and it's Brent Fiyaz, so I'm gonna still listen. But for a lot of people who are anyone who's similar to me, I think is gonna have that same effect where it's released too early and it falls off. And I have to like there are a couple albums where I have to go back and remind myself, I'm like, oh shit,
that happened.
Yeah, like even one of my favorite artists, again, not his strongest project, but it was the end of the year, and I was like, oh shit, Goldlink dropped this year. I listened to it when it came out, but it was the wrong timing. He came out in like the early summer when it should have been a
just
fall.
flooded or it just didn't fit.
It
the
flooded
mood.
over everything else. Like this is in the summer album, and then in the fall, I'm like, oh, I completely forgot it happened. I feel like Brent Fiyaz is gonna have the same effect.
Yeah, it's like there's
That's
no.
fair.
Every time we go to do our end of the year list, I don't care who you are, you got to look back at what dropped this year and be
You
like,
have to.
oh yeah.
That's why I keep my list,
You
bro.
know what I mean?
I keep that shit stacked.
Yeah, you're gonna forget things.
You forget about way too
Now,
much.
yeah, I do want to listen to this and check it out. I did just want to. This is kind of a sidebar, but it's going on what you said about the skits. Honestly, I'm good leaving skits as its own track in the past at this point. Like, I don't think it ever really does that much. Leave it at the end of a song or something. But
Okay, see, I disagree because
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite.
because here's my thing: if I'm playing,
Keep the
if-
song.
I don't
Keep
because
the banger the
there's
banger.
no good skits anymore.
but that's fine because then I can skip the skits when I'm doing a song.
Yeah.
If I'm putting a
Right.
song on a playlist or playing like, yo, I want you to hear this and this. When the skit comes in at the end, you're kind of just like at this moment, like, okay, I'm just waiting for this thing to get to the next thing. At least if it's its own track, I can skip it.
Right.
Like, hey,
but if
Mac
it's-
Miller, bro, I don't need to hear you fucking for 2 minutes at the end of this
Yeah,
beautiful
I know.
ass song you
That's the
made.
Same
what
thing
they-
with "Take You" by NERD.
That's
Like,
what they say. The meme was like, when you reach 4 minutes and 32 seconds and Stay
Yeah.
by Mac Miller, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, reaching for
No.
But no, I mean, like, but look, you just said that way I can skip it. You're skipping it anyway. I don't think it's really, unless it's extremely, extremely narrative driven. I really think that it's a space taker upper at that point.
But
for the
again,
most
if
part.
if they have if they have an absolute banger, but they have a skit at the end of it, but you want to play that shit
Yeah,
for a party,
which
I'd
I-
rather it be separate.
I get
Yeah.
that too, so maybe that's not the right answer. But at that point, I'm like, kind of, well, for one, the concept of a skit, I don't think should be, even if it is at the end of the, it should be a couple lines. It shouldn't be this long thing. But again, I just don't think that I've seen, look, you see, like, you go back to like Marshall Mathers LP and the skits on there and like that whole shit and whatever. Okay, yeah, I get. To be fair, in the construct of the album, it didn't really add anything. He's just talking shit to his manager in basically every single one. So it's like, but what I'm saying is like, I just don't think that there's really many times that a skit really feels necessary unless it's
Pimp a Butterfly.
extremely narrative driven. To Pimp a Butterfly, you know what I mean? Like that's there's
Good Kid, Mad City, excuse me.
There's
Both of them, really.
There's instances.
I didn't bring it up,
There-
but
there's-
since we're here, let's talk about it. No, go ahead.
No, but do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I
very
get- I
rarely
get
does
what
it
you're
add what
saying.
they think it adds, and I feel like it's just to make the track list 1 or 2 tracks longer.
I don't.
a lot of the
Well, I don't
time.
know. I don't think that's
I'd rather
always
you
the
do
case.
an interlude and do something different there.
I think it depends. There's some albums I do like the skits. I think I like it. I'll put it in this context. I like it when I'm putting it on, like, if it's on like a vinyl version of the album where I'm listening to the full thing anyway, and I can
you can't
skip it.
I can't
and
just
you-
pick up the needle and drop it.
right,
where it needs
and
to
so
go.
it fits into the narrative
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what they're doing. Versus, again, some skits are random. I mean, one of my favorite. I'll be honest, it doesn't fit in necessarily, but one of my favorite skits, Ludacris album, when he had that Ludacris's greatest hits sung by white people, and I will listen to that track by itself without any context or anything. It's just hilarious.
Yes, and it's same. Also, great example of I think skits that fit fit perfectly are like the Kanye ones on the trilogy.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you know what I mean? But again, all those that we mentioned, how long ago did those albums come out?
We ain't got it.
Those fit for those albums, and I guess maybe even more just that time. I can't say in the past 10 years I've heard an album that I'm like, the skits really enhance the experience here.
I mean, I think it depends on the album, but
Yeah.
the thing about it, as long as it's a
I think
separate
Wasteland
track,
was one that did it pretty well.
yeah, because the whole concept of the album is this is a wasteland. Like it's a narrative. It's part of the narrative. It's and the skit you go back to even like the Stevie Wonder, like "Living Just for the City," where the guy goes in and gets robbed. Like,
Yes, again, but that's all I'm saying. In modern music, I haven't been wowed by any skits.
That's fair.
And take it from the guy whose first body of work has skits on it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, don't get me wrong. Trust me, it's a thing. But like, I don't know.
I know a garbage skit when I hear one.
Exactly.
I know all about a garbage skit. I made them.
I know what something sounds like when you put it on. You say, yes, I can skip this one. Yeah, exactly. No,
But I mean, hell, there's so many tracks on some of these albums where I'm like, yeah, I can skip this whole ass track too.
Yeah.
Fuck the skit.
Right.
The song sucks.
Exactly. But that's the thing. It's like when it comes to, and that a lot of the times, even albums that I do like that have skits, if I've listened to it a million times and I'm listening to, there's certain times I'm like, whatever, I'm skipping those anyway. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't think it holds the same value in 2026 that it did pre-2010 when an album.
It's a streaming era situation.
Yeah, and an album was based so much more. It wasn't. People were making bodies of work that were, like I said, narrative driven,
Cohesive.
that were cohesive and whatever. It doesn't really like DaBaby doesn't need skits on his album, which I'm pretty sure he fucking has, or something close to that at least.
No, he just talks.
Yeah, that's close enough.
He just talks during the
You know what I
Well,
mean?
then you have Jay Electronica, who's really talking way too much.
Well,
Yeah.
Jay Electronica, every album is just one long skit.
It's a
anyway,
skit with
so-
some music in between.
Yeah, it's like it's a skit with a beat in the background, basically. Like,
Basically.
you know. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's just an interesting conversation of like, is it as necessary, or is it? It's not necessary all the time, and even a lot of the time when I do see it brought in, it doesn't really add anymore in a lot of. But it depends the artist and how they're going about it.
Right.
You know.
I thought that was a beautiful, unexpected but beautiful side tangent. I actually really, I'd never really thought deeply about the skits conversation until we just had it right now.
I mean,
I like that.
I remember back when I used to have like music players because they weren't on your phone and you could only put so much music on there. I would just actually search for all the things that said skit.
Yeah.
And
Just delete all those. 'Cause you only
Yeah. You had to free up space.
Yeah, you had to pick and choose. And like someone talking, as much as I may have loved it, only Ludacris's greatest hits sung by white people got to stay on.
Yeah, I think like my
That's
first
the only one.
MP3 player was like 64 megabytes or something like that. It's like, we don't need the skits on there.
But
I would be remiss if we left this podcast without shout out to Money Mur talking about the Waka Flocka album. This man both texted the group chat and called me about it. I haven't gotten a call from this man in months.
No, he just calls me because you don't answer.
That's fair. He calls me at bet. Bro, he called me on air.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he called me on air today. I'm like, brother, if it was a FaceTime, I would have picked up.
Oh, maybe I guess if
So
he's
they
not
could see.
I know the time. I know
Yeah.
the on-air time not to call, but
Dog, it's been 5 to 7 for
the whole time
4
that you've
years.
known him. Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, I digress. Shout out to Money Mur. But
I am super geeked to listen to. I haven't had time, and I also knew that Friday afternoon, right after work, because I was working basically until I came here.
Yeah.
Not the time to listen to Flocka. Tomorrow, midday.
fuck.
Me having to go to the
Walking-
gym tomorrow.
Yeah, and then
Let's go.
Yeah.
Walking around, finding your midday plans and whatever. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where you'll get it.
I'm gonna be at Easter Market shopping for like organic fruits and vegetables and shit, just bobbing my head.
I do.
Getting organic food while listening to Waka Flocka is
I'm
I'm gonna
crazy.
send y'all a picture tomorrow.
I do just have to. I have to say, the beautifully terrible album cover is like so reminiscent.
Bring back those old
It's
mixtape
like,
days.
That is like Gucci mixtape.
Yes.
shit. And it's like it's so bad that it's good. Like
That's
you know
what. That's
I mean?
why I tagged you in that one of the Anna Kitts Woods dude. Like that one is also a fucking like a terrible good cover.
Those,
it
the
is-
worst Photoshop where you're using paint and just cropping out one thing and pasting it right
the
on.
hardest drop shadow on it and like whatever. But it's like that, dude. That is like the best ode to like hip hop in general. Is the beautifully, absolutely so bad album cover that it makes it good.
This first
I
album, the
100%.
first song in this album is called "Shit I Like." I am so excited to listen to this tomorrow. You don't have any idea. I feel bad for my neighbors in my apartment building. This is going up tomorrow.
And the fact that it's a mixtape too, you know it's gonna be fucking. I hope that at least one song gets restarted like 8 times in a row because it needs to. Hold up, run that back real quick.
Well, you do hear if I had to set a line as somebody that listens to it at the Trapaholics mixtape.
Well, it's
like,
Waka Flocka.
would
it's
you
tra-
take
it's
the over or
Trapaholics-
the under a 3.5?
It's Trapaholics and Holiday Season, I
Yeah.
believe too, isn't it? It's like
No, there's no holiday seasons.
no,
Holiday.
I thought there was there was another person involved outside of Trapaholics as well. Maybe I'm wrong.
There is. I'm blanking on it right now though, but it's not.
I'll give it a
Yeah,
look.
no Southside's on it.
But
Oh,
it's
you got
not-
Travis Porter
Yeah.
and Roscoe Dash. Whoa, come on now.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This
Roscoe Dash.
This is
What the fuck?
ROSCO. Mr. Shorty put it on me. Come on.
ROSE.
my only
You wanted your no hands.
my
Come on
only
now.
my only thing about this mixtape. My only comment about this mixtape
Is its ass?
is that and this is endearing, is that it belongs on Dat Piff. This should not be on Apple Music. This is a Dat Piff ass mixtape,
That's
bro.
beautiful.
That is fucking.
I am taking this back to
Yeah.
college days. This is the
There's
worst
some
time.
bangers.
This is the worst time for this album to drop. I
I
want to
know.
take it back to college. I need with me doing all the
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
partying stuff.
when you're when
It's a party. It's a party. It's a
he's
party.
doing. That's why, like, when he was like, "Oh, perfect. This is gonna be perfect." I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this is probably the worst time for this to drop. But when you said the gym, I was like, that is like the only other, because I was at my 9 to 5 office desk going fucking crazy, wanting to like flip shit, fucking throw shit like.
I just have to say in my Googles when I typed in
complete
Waka
debauchery.
Flocka, the first thing that came up was the most searched question is what is Waka Flocka's SAT score, which I just thought was kind of funny. But I'm trying to figure
But
out.
yeah, the Roscoe Dash song is really fire.
James.
LeBron Flocka James 2K26. I'm trying to figure out because I saw
King
that.
Killer was another good one. I'm looking at the ones that I liked off
There's
of
a
it.
song just called "Wet." I know that's about to be ratchet.
Yeah. Yeah, shit I like was dope too. I know you mentioned that one. Oh, Brothers with Jimmy Rocket. Jimmy Rocket slid on that. That show was
Oh
fire.
boy.
That show was fire.
Well, cancel my plans for tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that show was fire.
I was gonna go into my R&B bag
dope.
and listen to like a legacy act with Raheem Devon, but nope, it looks like it's Flocka.
Dude, it should be. It should be. Absolutely. No, I thought it was dope. Why did I just get a notification live now? Police chase ends in car crash. Metro Detroit News.
So I
I
know,
don't care.
AP, you didn't really get a chance to listen. I didn't get a chance to listen to a lot today. Real quick, Patty, did you listen to Ransom?
Yes, this
it
was
good?
dope.
Okay.
That was dope. I liked
Oh, he had a
Sinners.
project?
I liked Forgiveness. I like Offerings a lot. I thought the chemistry between Boldy and Ransom was really good, but you kind of expect it. So I thought, and also the album cover is fire. And then I'm glad you scrolled past that because I'm pulling up my list now.
Mm-hmm.
The A Boogie with a Hoodie EP was really fire. That
Okay.
shit was like as somebody that's not the biggest like A Boogie with the Hoodie fan, like he's not even the best Boogie to me. Shout out West Side Boogie.
It was
but
Facts.
as soon as
it was good. It was really good. There was some nice like flips. It had a nice balance between like some introspective records, some fucking like dope hip hop sample flips.
it's so funny because my brain just
It
went
was really
straight to
dope.
I literally
I really enjoyed it.
I think it's because of the time that A Boogie was relevant or whatever, that my first thought was, what the fuck does A Boogie have to think at a time like this? At a time like this, because in my brain I was like, oh, Ace Hood dropped today, but like I know that they're very different artists, but they were at the same time and like whatever, you know what I mean? Oh. So it was really funny, but I didn't think I'd be hearing from him this year. So
yeah,
no, it's an EP too. It's only 20 minutes. Fire.
Okay, real quick, did you listen to the Mike and Keys and Nipsey Hussle track?
I did not listen. I did not listen to that because I saw that, but I want to intentionally save as much of it. I want to wait till it drops, and I'm just gonna listen to the whole thing.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna skip the singles.
I did listen to Larry June, Currency, and Alchemist.
Yeah,
pretty decent start.
It was a whole project, right?
No, it's just a single.
Just a single.
Yeah.
The projects. I'm waiting for the actual project because this one seemed like a safe start, but I think it's gonna go. They
had the Squidward meme with SpongeBob and Patrick outside, and they said Freddie Gibbs watching Alchemist and Currency make music together. That shit cracked me up.
I know.
That shit cracked me up.
I'm curious to see what Currency is talking about in 2026. That'll be
cars.
Well,
cars.
Sure.
It's him and Larry June.
Getting
cars,
blunted.
It's cars and blunts.
Yeah.
I know, but weed isn't that cool anymore. So that knocks out a quarter of Currency's.
It's still cool to him.
It's still very cool to him. I can assure you. This one I did. Let's do Mike Will Made It feature, which again, that album got announced. It does have a feature. We have an album that has features from NBA YoungBoy, J. Cole, Andre 3000. That's a wild track.
That is a wild combo.
But that was but the NBA YoungBoy song on the Mike Will Made It album was it was dope. Yeah, and Chief Keef. I'm sure you probably have a lyric breakdown on that. You probably want to.
No, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
You got. What did you think? What did you think of the concepts of it? What did you think of the concepts of the record?
I thought it was. Be careful about Chief Keef slander on this podcast.
No, I'm talking about the NBA YoungBoy part of it.
Right. It was some.
I have to stick up for Birdie and Jalen. They're not here.
No, I was gonna say it's just such high quality writing on a song. You
gotta really think about it.
Yeah, it really. I had my dictionary out, really trying to hit all of the words for that.
The Central C single that leads to either an EP or an album, the Iceman freestyle, was dope. I thought that was dope as well.
Waka Flocka.
Yeah, there was a lot of dope stuff that dropped. Oh, Boss Man D-Lo had a nice little single too.
I was actually excited to hear that one. Also, the Cool Kids.
Sorry, real quick. I saw a tweet that made me laugh so hard because J. Cole went to some club and like played whatever song.
The Boss Man D-Lo tweet.
Somebody commented on it, was like, I paid $2,000 for this section. I'm not trying to hear J. Cole. Boss Man D-Lo, please.
He said specifically, I'm about to throw a bottle at him. Boss Man D-Lo.
Oh my God! You said the Cool Kids did something?
Yeah, Cool Kids and Cannon dropped a Weekend Love reissue, so I got to see what that sounds like in this day and age.
Which shout out Chuck English is fucking Mount Clemens.
Yeah.
He's from Metro Detroit.
So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Also, Jamie Foxx apparently dropped a single.
Oh damn, I did not hear that.
Well, it really is R&B week. Then we got Jill Scott, Raheem DeVaughn, and Jamie Foxx.
I will say I did actually just by accident because it popped up on my Twitter, but I listened to the Concrete Boys single. Yachty's whatever, his collective, whatever you call it. And honestly, I liked it. It was fun. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. The video was really cool for it. I love Yachty's art direction with everything. I mean, I know what I'm going to him for, but I'd like to see him try and kind of A&R this Concrete Boys thing into something and actually make it, because he's tried before and it never really came to fruition. Or
maybe he also had that issues with Caribou, who I think she was part of it.
Whatever it is, so I'd like to see. I'm interested to see where it goes. I like the single and I like Yachty's rapping on it. It's funny because I was watching the music video and I was like, man, I just like, it's so crazy because I remember when Yachty first dropped like One Night or whatever in 2016. Yachty was born, he's literally exactly my age. He's like a day younger or older than me. And like just thinking, I'm like, damn, I've seen him, like I watched him grow up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm always in the corner of Yachty. I want to see what he ends up doing.
Apparently, Terrace Martin dropped something. So shout out to R&B,
Yeah.
man. This is
Yeah,
it's a good week
I
for
listened
R&B.
to that was dope too.
Was it
That's
mostly
his second
instrumental?
project. Yeah, that was his second project that he dropped this year.
Yeah, I was gonna
He's
say he just
fucking
dropped
on a
something.
heater.
Just to reiterate that it is Valentine's Day weekend, so you know,
Again, good call.
Makes sense that it's a big
Again, like I
R&B.
said, I'm very happy. I got some music that's gonna be used immediately.
Also, just like some other things like Crass dropping, which I haven't heard anything new from him in years. Evidence dropping, haven't heard like with Blue
I
on
did
it.
hear about Evidence in Blue or whatever.
Man, bringing up
Buddha
Raz
Bless.
Kaz. We're getting to the unk portion of
I was
the
gonna say we got
podcast.
Buddha Bless with Big Sean on it, and so there's some stuff really. Buddy dropped something. Yeah, there's a
Yeah, Buddy single was dope too.
That
was crack.
Side note, I got that from my mom. That I've made this joke a couple times on the podcast with certain artists, but the other day my mom goes, "So now, okay, Big Sean." She's like, "Do we like him?" She was like, my mom was like, "He was on The View. I really liked what he had to say." He was like
So
on
you're
The
saying
View or something like that.
she liked his view?
Yeah, pretty much. She goes, "Oh, yeah, he's cute." And But I'm like, it's so funny because like periodically my mom will come to me and be
He's
like,
single now.
Yeah.
And did the same thing when she's like, she calls me, she goes, "So yeah, Chris is on Instagram or whatever talking about J. Cole." She's like, "Do I know J. Cole?" I'm like, "Yes, mom, you know."
Yes, you know J. Cole. That's funny. Shout out to your mom.
Oh, shout out to moms.
But no, yeah, it was a dope week. Like I said, that was all the highlights I had. But boy, do we have a busy month coming. Like I said, we have Bruno Mars coming 2 weeks from now.
Let's go.
Baby Keem next week.
Let's go.
Future teased 3 snippets this last week. Drake, multiple snippets. Iceman. The word on the street is he's trying to step on Baby Keem's album. So I think it's coming very, very soon. I think
That's so stupid because it's so not impressive if Drake steps
also
on the team.
also
Really not.
yeah. Also at the same time, yeah, that's just like crazy bully. But I actually think it's kind of the other way around. I think that the Kendrick and Keem single they're gonna use to block Drake from getting a #1 single. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that's actually what's trying to happen.
I don't know. I
But
mean,
we'll see.
I don't see Keem trying.
But
to,
if that's true, I don't want to hear nothing about this whole unbothered narrative that everybody tied to Kendrick is just like, yeah, no, I talked to him the day he released Not Like Us, and it was just a Tuesday to him. He didn't care. He was so unaffected. Wow, I was so inspired by the fact that he just doesn't care. Well, the whole world cares, but he doesn't care at all. Did I mention that he doesn't care?
You could tell it was just a Tuesday to him. By
Yeah.
the way, it was a Saturday.
Yeah, like, exactly, bro. Like that's been the narrative. So if he's still 2 years later trying to step on some shit, then all right, you can't run that narrative. That's hypocritical. But
this is like at this point, it's starting to get to like two like dogs. Like just put them in the other room.
But-
stop letting them like
Yeah.
pretend to play.
remember too.
Keem has a date though, and Drake doesn't. So I doubt that.
But apparently, multiple people know the date of the album, but it's not public.
But unless it's,
Johnny
unless
Remember,
it's in the month of February, which is not going,
academics, Rory, Maul, like a whole
Manziel.
bunch of people have said that like they know the date. They're just obviously not saying it to step on the raw. They're gonna let him do his thing.
My boy said he in the Aston doing donuts.
That meme is just so
Cracks
funny.
me up.
But no. So I didn't even finish everybody that's dropping. We have word that we have rumblings from a source that's been pretty damn accurate. Has called everything to a T so far. So I'm trusting it. That a surprise Uzi drop is coming very soon.
That makes sense.
That also we know that, and this is public information, that the because projections are actually out for this, so this is really happening. But Kanye West, the Bully album is coming.
Yeah, I've been hearing things about.
They have projections for the album. Like that's crazy. That means
maybe-
it's like
yeah,
it's real. It's happening.
Hence the article in the New York Times last week. We know it's coming because he's apologizing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. You can see that the way he's been moving. He's trying to. If he's not causing the controversy, he's patching it up.
He's cleaning it up, yeah.
The Alex
He had
Jones
s-
crowd was not buying Bully, so he needs to pivot a little
He
bit.
had
Right, exactly.
He had so much smoke for Cole, and he ended up apologizing just like J. Cole. You soft. No, I'm playing. But so that's crazy too. Also, on the episode, our 100th episode. What other way? What better way to celebrate it than a Jack Harlow album release?
Oh my
Jack Harlow, Monica dropping March 13th.
It is called that, and I also saw a tweet this week that said, "Is he allowed to say that?" Because if you say that album title slowly,
Yeah, fair. But look, man, it's gonna be a great.
dude, people are going to fucking rip him apart.
It's gonna be a
It's
great thing.
as bad as Drewski trying to say JSN on the NFL honors. Jackson Smith Nigba.
Oh my god!
But look, I took like 2 to 3 minutes to announce everything and this is just the stuff that we know that's coming within the next like month and a half.
Yeah, that's
That's
lot.
fucking crazy.
Did
So
he
stay tuned.
Barely even mentioned Mike Will. That's because that's
Yeah,
next
Mike
month.
Will is like, I think
It's in March.
Yeah, was it March 20th? Oh,
Yeah.
and then Thundercat announced a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, dude.
Remember?
all the Thundercat singles are fucking great.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Thundercat's coming in March. Like, holy shit, dude, we are just like, this is gonna be a fucking year, boys.
It's about to be a hip hop summer. I think that we're gonna realize hip hop and R&B about to take back over the charts this year. And I'm here for it. Let's go.
I can't wait for it. So let us know in the comments below what you are most excited for. What are your thoughts on J. Cole's Fall? Also, happy anniversary to So Far Gone, a classic. Shout out to So Far Gone. What was it? It was released in 2009, so that makes it 17 years old. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, that's a weird thought, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
17 years old. So Far Gone. Absolute classic, man. Absolute classic. But shout out to that in its anniversary, the day of this recording. But let us know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on that album, and what are your thoughts on J. Cole, the fall off? Where you feel about it? What is your anticipation level for Baby Keem? Can he be a star? And that Sci-High stuff, I saw the tweets. We're gonna get to that next week because I want the full panel for that because I think
about to be some
that might be like just an hour topic in and of itself. That's probably gonna be a
get ugly.
35 to 45 minute topic minimum.
Let's say it's gonna be Shy High and
Yeah.
Baby Keem week next week.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a wild
There's
week.
gonna be a
but
lot of Jalen going, but who the fuck is Sci-Hi to say?
But tap in with us, Rap K Podcast, best podcast in the world, especially the rap world. I'm Chris Platte, a.k.a. Platte Paz, with a few near and dear friends. I got Bryce flying in from somewhere nice.
You are now free to move about the comments.
I got Big AP on the ones and twos.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to all the fellas that could be here today. Shout out Birdie for oversleeping. Shout out Jay Leno. I know you're a busy man right now. Shout out to Zay. Shout out to everybody in the Rat K podcast.
Cowboy Brian is busy lassoing
Cowboy.
someone.
Yeah.
Last one, some for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I believe it. Peace out, everybody.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.